This is the SF Productions Podcast Network.
Sure you have good numbers, but how's your 18 to 49 look?
From the Pop Culture Bunker, I'm Mindy.
And I'm Mark. You can check out our audio podcast, How I Got My Wife to Read Comics, on iTunes or on our website, sfpodcastnetwork.com. Radio, and then later TV in the United States, decided to go with ad-based programs. Of course, a lot of countries' media is actually controlled by the government.
Like in England, where you pay a fee for every TV you have.
On the BBC and all that. But in the U.S., you pretty much they pay their way via ads.
Yes.
So how do you know how much you're going to have to pay to get an ad on television? Now you can enter Arbitron for radio and AC Nielsen for television. And the concept for them is that they do these samples of what viewers watch. They take actually a very small sample. In 2009, they only did 25,000 people out of 114 million television viewers. And based on that information, they extrapolate and say, these are your ratings for your shows.
Well, but that's essentially how political pollsters work, too, so...
Exactly, and you can see how accurate those are. So, they used to use paper diaries, and I think they still do to some extent.
We used paper diaries. I was in a Nielsen family when I was growing up. Yes, I know at least once and maybe twice we had Nielsen diaries that we had to fill out.
Right, but now they do these electronic people meters that they hook up to your TV, and they just track it electronically. And when there were 3 channels to watch in your local local affiliate or your local market, ratings worked fine. But the ad industry then introduced demographics in the 1960s. And essentially the idea was younger equals better, since younger viewers aren't as set in their buying ways. That's the concept.
Well, and there really is a trade-off between the younger viewers and then the viewers who have money to spend.
Right.
But they really don't address... The advertisers don't really care about people who are old and set in their ways who have money. They want to influence the younger people who have the money and who are spending and just developing their spending ways.
Right. So the big one that they always consider is the 18 to 49, and that's the viewer age.
And Mark is going to be aging out of that fairly shortly.
Yep. So I soon will have no significance in television ad buying.
Yes.
And demographics ended up killing what they used to refer to as rural shows in the late 60s. Andy Griffith Show, Beverly Hillbillies, Green Acres had a lot of viewers, but they were old and they were poor. And so they said, no, we don't like all these extra viewers. We actually want the good viewers.
Yes.
But it also ended up forcing CBS in that case to take a chance on shows they probably wouldn't have taken a chance on otherwise because there were so many holes in their schedule. Shows like All in the Family and MASH. So it had a major impact on CBS, and they ended up being the #1 network there for a while. Nielsen also created the concept of sweeps, when ad rates are actually set. And there's sweeps in November, February, and May. There's actually also sweeps during August, but it doesn't count because the networks gave up on August sweeps. So it's every 3 months. And that's why now, when you watch network television, as we tape this, it is just going into March. You're not going to see a lot of new shows for a while.
Reruns.
A lot of reruns. And you'll start to see a lot of new shows in May. So they really game the system, and everybody knows they game the system.
Well, but this is mostly networks and not, say, HBO or something like that.
Yeah, the networks. So today, with over 1,000 channels, plus online, plus mobile, does all of this still work?
Is it relevant at all?
Is it relevant, these ratings? Nielsen only recently started including DVR numbers, only in the last couple years.
And even then it was like DVR in the 24 or 48 hours right after it aired, right?
Right. It's +3 days, and then there's a +7 number, so +7 days. So if you're a Nielsen family and you have something on your DVR and you watch it more than 7 days out, they don't count it.
Doesn't count.
So they really discount that number. And Nielsen just announced, just this past week, they would begin to include online viewings in their ratings. But it's only via the official channels of it So
would that be like via CBS.com, NBC.com?
Yeah, it's unclear what Hulu's going to get involved in, and it's also unclear if they're going to actually count actual programs versus I did X amount of online viewing overall. And they're just going to spread it evenly, which makes no sense whatsoever.
No,
so
it doesn't.
They're just coming out of the Stone Age on this. So why do the networks allow this? I think because they're scared of what happens on the other side. You know, if they actually do major changes in how ratings are determined, you know, the network in the number one position, which is currently CBS, is like, oh wow, we actually are no longer number one.
Well, the other thing is that it should be theoretically possible now to not only track if they're watching a certain TV show, but to track if they're watching the commercials associated with the TV show.
Right.
And that is what would really affect ad rates. If, they find out, oh, people on this show tend to skip commercials more than people on this show.
Right. And then, of course, there's different ads if you're watching Hulu than if you're watching the network.
Right.
One last point here, and this is another reason we wanted to talk about this. The NBC affiliate in Cleveland just recently replaced their Thursday night primetime lineup with a Matlock TV movie from the 90s. This is how screwed up things have gotten in television ratings. They're like, look, these shows are doing so badly.
We're pretty sure we could get better ratings with Matlock.
And apparently they only got like 1/10 of a point less than what they would have gotten with their overall primetime TV shows. But again, this is all based on these ratings that are really wonky as to whether they really mean anything. And would knowing those online numbers prevent this type of thing from happening?
Who knows?
Not unless they truly change the system. The data's there, clearly. In fact, the data's better for online because you have a much better idea. If you're watching Hulu, you have to watch the ads.
Yeah.
You have no choice.
Well, they have to play.
Yeah, you can leave the room.
You can get up and leave the room,
but you
can't fast forward.
You can't skip through them like on DVRs. I don't know. And the other point online is that you can get the full rating. You don't have to do a sample. You can see how many people watch this show on Hulu. Not a sample, the full number.
Right.
You know it's 100% correct. So who knows if they're ever going to fix this thing. Want to remind you you can check out our audio podcast, How I Got My Way Free Comics on iTunes.
Or on our website, sfpodcastnetwork.com.
Right.
So, from the Pop Culture Bunker, I'm Mindy.
And I'm Mark. Thanks for watching.